Welcome back to Nbs. I'm Liam,
And I'm Christian.
and this channel is for your sports desires. And on episode 2, we have a couple topics, so we're just going to hop right into the first one. So, Christian, after that incredible Super Bowl win over the Chiefs, do you believe Jalen Hurts is a top 3 QB? And if, who are the other two?
See, I'm not trying to take anything away from him. In the playoffs, he was amazing. He was great. When they need him, he's great. But the Philly playbook is more of a
Run first offense.
Run first offense. So you can't really see what he can do.
How do you think him as a mobile quarterback impacts the run game?
It impacts it a whole lot.
Because you can have read options.
Yes, I think it's the same way that Lamar does on the Ravens. I don't know if it's as strong because Lamar is something else, man. But if they would have ran a couple read options in that Super Bowl, I don't know what happens. He might break off for a long one because they were really focusing on Saquon in that game.
I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
But back to the top three. I think my top three right now would have to be Josh Allen, Lamar, and Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I was thinking about Joe Burrow too. But it's just the fact that he has an amazing team around him. And I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is bad or nothing, but I feel like if you put Joe Burrow in that loaded Eagles offense, I feel like he can honestly go. What did the Eagles go this year? 12-5, 13-4. I think they can go 15-2.
15-2. See, because when you put Joe Burrow on a team that has a defense and get some stops,
yes, and a decent O-line,
you're winning games.
And you got to put this into consideration too. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have chemistry from LSU. So I feel like I like your opinion for the top 3 QB so far. So hopping on to our next topic. Okay, so this goes out to the LSU boys. Christian, if you were a GM and you had to pick between these two people, would you rather have Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and why would you have them?
That's tough, man. That's tough. I think I'm still going to have to go with Justin Jefferson. The production he's put up with Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold.
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, come on. And, I forget the backup they had last year.
And you got to put injuries into consideration because Justin Jefferson, incredible player, he got injured for about, I don't know how many weeks.
He did get injured.
For, I think it was 6 or something. And he came back and he still had 1,000 yards.
Yeah, that was...
So that's the player you need. You need that starstruck player that's going to put your team above everything else.
He had everybody thinking that, Sam Darnold was...
a top 10 QB in the league.
And, I'm not discrediting Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
he had a great season. And I think he'll probably be the best quarterback in free agency if the Vikings let him walk.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, they should let him walk. I think J.J. McCarthy's sitting ready to
play. Yeah. But I wonder how J.J. McCarthy will adapt with the rest of the team.
Yeah. J.J. McCarthy in Michigan, he was a
baller.
Yeah. But he was more of like a system quarterback. Like he did what he was supposed to do and nothing else.
And I like that Vikings playbook, and I like how it's more of like a pass-first offense, focused on the receivers, and you're surrounding that young J.J. McCarthy with a great receiver one and an amazing receiver two in Jordan Addison. And I believe they have T.J. Hawkinson too, so that gives them an experienced tight end as well. And they picked up Aaron Jones this offseason, so yeah, they're going to have a good offense next year.
All right, how about you? Would you rather take Jamar and Jay Jettis?
So here's the thing. I feel like Jamar, he's put up incredible numbers this year, but there's one thing that if I'm drafting somebody, I want them to know I want confidence and I want consistency. And over these past, I don't know how many years, I don't think Justin Jefferson has won a year without going over 1,000 yards, if not being within 50 yards. But I don't know. That's a tough question. They're both really elite receivers. But honestly, I think I'd have to go with Jay Jettis.
Yeah.
All right, Christian. If you can add any award you wanted, anything in the world, what would it be to the NFL?
All right. See, I have two. There was one that Deion Dawkins brought up. He said Protector of the Year award.
That would be insane. Just for the big guys?
Just for the big guys. I mean, they don't get an award.
That's true. Except the Walter Payton man.
But they don't.
They don't really get awards centered to them.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, nobody's paying attention to the O-line. They don't get enough love as they should. I mean, you gotta think about it. The Eagles' O-line was probably the best thing about their team.
Yeah, because you had Mailata, Johnson, Dickerson, Juergens, and Mekhi Becton, I believe. That's an insane O-line.
I mean, Lane Johnson's still putting up numbers like this.
Yes.
I mean, but you can't really look at a stat and see, oh, he's a great O-line. You have to watch these games and see them. I mean, it's crazy, man.
What was your second one?
Most improved.
Most improved, just like, isn't that the NBA?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I've never thought about this till this season. I mean, as a Panthers fan, I saw the Bryce Young, comeback in the middle of the season. And, I mean, if there was a most improved, I feel like he would have won it this year.
Actually. I feel like right up there, Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold.
He could have been right there with him.
See, I guess it depends on what you use as the
barrier.
Yeah, the barrier. Like how much? I don't know if you'd put it as improvement for a season, improvement from last year to this year, or how that would work.
Yeah.
So,
if I can add an award, I'm trying to think. Honestly, that's a tough question. Let me think about this. I'm trying to think of accolades. Maybe. Let's already come back. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe. Honestly, I feel like the kickers, too. Just as much as the O-linemen, I feel like kickers win games, too.
Yeah, kickers win a lot of games. I mean,
I know Jake Elliott didn't do too good in the playoffs, but during the Super Bowl, he was knocking them down. It was insane.
He was. I mean, you gotta think, when a kicker messes up a kick, they get all the hate. But when they make one, I mean, really, do you see them get as much love as you see the quarterbacks or wide receivers or skill positions get? I mean, as I'm sure Philly fans were ready to, get him out of there.
Yeah.
And same with Bills fans. And, I mean, I've heard Bills fans yell at their kicker. But, I mean, kickers deserve the love.
It's insane. I feel like the kicker can change the trajectory of the season. And another insane kicker was Tyler Bass. I believe he was the kicker for the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him hit a game winner against Miami near the beginning of the season.
Alright, hopping off of that topic will be, who will win the NBA Finals this year, Christian?
See, it's hard to bet against the Celtics. I mean, they haven't been that team that they were, beginning of the season. Like, they hit a little slump. But, I mean, you can't bet against them.
They're in the East, right?
Yeah.
There's not that much competition in the East.
I mean, I think there's two teams right now that I'm looking at coming out of the East.
Cavs?
And that's the Cavaliers
and the Celtics. They're going to be in the Eastern Conference Final. And then, on the other side, on the Western, aren't the Thunder in the Western?
Thunder,
They're going. They might go all the way.
Yeah. See,
I'm really concerned about them. As a Celtics fan, I feel like the Thunder is our main competition.
Yeah. And, I mean, even if the Thunder don't make it, the Nuggets are looking.
Same thing with the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
They're looking dangerous.
The West is a stack.
The West is loaded.
I mean, if you think about it.
Because then the Mavericks still have a chance, too.
Yeah. And the Lakers are
they got Luka.
I mean, the Spurs might even have a chance. I mean, they went and picked up De'Aaron Fox.
That's a little bit of a reach, Christian. I don't know about all that.
They could at least make the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
Who's betting against Wemby? I'm not.
I mean,
I might bet against the team.
yeah, against the team,
Yeah.
but not Wemby because he's such a dominant player in that paint. But who do you think will end up being the most valuable player of the year this year? I have three people I think it could be.
Yeah.
Statistically, it should be Jokic because this is the best season he's ever had in his entire life. Yeah. But honestly, my two picks I want to win is either SGA or Jason Tatum. Because I feel like if Jason Tatum wasn't on the Celtics team, everybody says, oh, they got Derek White, oh, they got Jaylen Brown. If Jason Tatum wasn't on that team, they wouldn't have been to the finals 2 times in the past 5 years.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I think he doesn't get enough credit just because their GMs know how to draft and how to build a team.
I feel like he's one of the most hated players in the entire league.
Yeah, and I don't see the reason. I mean, I'm not even a Celtics fan. I'm a Heat fan, and I mean, we've met each other in the playoffs quite a lot, and we seem to always have each other's number. But I mean, Jason Tatum, without him, I don't think it's that competitive. Like, this team is not going to be an NBA championship team without Jason Tatum. But I think you say the same with the Thunder. Without SGA, I don't know where they are.
I mean, they do have a lot of young talent. I feel like that whole team is young.
Yeah, I mean,
except for maybe like Lou Dort.
Yeah, I mean,
but other than that, who do you have? You got SGA. You got J-Dub, Shed.
They got a big pickup in the offseason with Hartenstein. That was a big move in my opinion. That was a big
move. Because then you can move Shed to the 4.
Yeah, I mean, that was...
Throw him at the 5.
I mean, but back to the MVP thing, I do think it probably should be Jokic. Because if you take Jokic off of that
Nuggets team, nothing's happening.
Like, they're not making the playoffs. I mean, Russ has been great for his role player position this year, but he got hurt. So, I mean, and nobody knows how long he's out. I would love to see him get a ring. But, I mean, Jokic has been balling out of his mind.
It's insane.
Averaging almost a triple-double. I mean, that's something, well, I mean, you're kind of used to seeing out of
a player like Jokic.
Yeah. I mean, when Russ did it, everybody was, they thought it was so insane. But they've been so used to Jokic doing it that they don't even look at it like he's doing much no more.
And I'm not going to sit here and disclude Luka, but I feel like his decision in going to the Lakers wasn't the best mistake because you're throwing him on a team with arguably the best player of all time, LeBron James, who's also a competitor. I would say who's also a competitor for the MVP.
Yeah, he's probably top 10 every year.
Yes, every year.
But I mean, you can't count out Luka.
Yeah.
But if he's getting the same amount of minutes and same amount of playing time as he did in his debut, he can't do it with that many minutes, man. Yeah. And he's not getting the ball enough to be able to, contribute. All
right, let's swing back to the NFL. Let's talk about what off-season pickups do you want to see this year?
Off-season pickups? See, I'm not just going to sit up here and be a biased Panthers fan. T. Higgins?
To the Panthers?
See, I would love to see him on the Panthers, but think about it. If you put him on that Commanders team...
Oh my goodness. Him and Scary Terry. That gives you a deep threat and a physical receiver. That would be insane.
And De'Ami Brown proved himself in them playoffs. He was looking nice.
Yeah.
Man.
You know what I was thinking? When I was watching the Super Bowl, I wasn't really focused on A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith going off. Jahan Dotson, he was spazzing. He had about 150 yards, a tutty. It was insane. I feel like if the Commanders had kept Jahan Dotson and let him develop around Scary Terry, he would have been a monster.
I mean, yeah, he did do pretty good in
that game.
In that Super Bowl. I mean, he had that one catch that was just about a touchdown. I was happy for him. But he had 2 receptions for 42. So, I mean, he's averaging 20 yards.
Oh, I was way off.
Yeah, no. I mean, but he did go off for his amount of playing time. Yeah. I mean, 2 catches for 42 yards. I mean, that first catch, I really thought it was a touchdown. I was so happy for him.
And another free agent pickup I would like to see a Debo Samuel land somewhere with a young receiving core, maybe like the Jaguars or the Giants. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Giants fan, but I would like to see Malik Neighbors and Debo Samuel and Wan'Dale Robinson all in the same room. And I feel like if Jalen Hyatt had the potential as all these other receivers, I feel like he could prove that he can be a receiver too. Because I just feel like with his speed and athleticism, he can be insane.
Yes, he 100% can. And while we're on the topic of free agents, Josh Sweat is a free agent. I mean,
they're going to have to re-sign him after that Super Bowl.
I mean, if they don't, he could be a problem on anybody's defense. But I mean, back to the Sam Darnold thing that we were talking about earlier. I mean, he could be a monster. I mean, I don't know what the Jets are doing with Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, if you put Darnold, I don't know if Darnold wants to go back to the Jets after what he did. Yeah. Let's see, but I mean, I'm sure he could be a dog pretty much, anywhere that needs him.
And the Chiefs are losing a key piece of their line in Trey Smith. Even though he wasn't doing the greatest in the Super Bowl, I feel like he's still a very solid tackle or guard, whatever they put him in. I feel like he's just there, ready to play. Same thing in Ronnie Stanley. He's a vet for the Ravens O-line, and they're losing him, so I feel like they're going to have to either draft somebody in the O-line or pick up somebody during free agency or re-sign him. Who knows?
I mean, Trey Smith would be a good pickup for literally anybody who needs an O-line. I'd say the same thing for Ronnie Stanley.
Throw in some
if you put him on
experience.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, Javon Holland is a free agent.
Actually.
Yes, he is. I mean, he's only, 24?
Same thing with Zach Bond.
I mean, Zach Bond had an absolute
insane year.
Yes. I mean, he went from
an outside linebacker on the Saints to becoming an MVP candidate playing middle linebacker.
I mean, he was...
in his first season.
He was great. I mean, nobody batted an eye when they signed him in free agency. Or when they signed him. But then, I mean, I promise you they're looking at him now. I mean, a Pro Bowl in his first year with the Eagles and a Super Bowl ring with him? Come on, man. Chris Godwin is also a free agent.
That's insane. I feel like if we could possibly pick up, Chris Godwin, as a Giants fan, if we could pick up Chris Godwin, him and Malik Neighbors in that 1-2 punch, that would be insane.
See, I'd say the same with the Panthers. I don't know if he'd come over to a division rival, but I mean, it'd be great. Get him and Canales back together.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, ultimately, I see him re-signing with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, and he's getting up there in age too, so you got to consider that. Nick Bolton, a key piece of the, Chiefs linebacker core, and as defense as a whole, he's the captain of that defense, and I feel like him just, getting released, or not released, but him testing his waters in free agency could hurt the Chiefs very much. Same thing with Justin Reed, He's an amazing safety, and I feel like he makes big plays sometimes, but he's just one of those guys you have to count on to make a play.
Yeah, I mean, back to Nick Bolton, I mean, he could be a key piece on literally anybody's defense.
Team. He's not that.
He's only 25 years old.
He's not that old in age, I was about to say. Same thing with Justin Reed.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
This
is the one I wanted to talk about.
Charvarius Ward leaving the 49ers.
He's 29, so he's getting up there in age, but he's a
great
dog. Corner. He's a great corner, and I think, you know what? Here's where I'm gonna be a biased Panthers fan. I need a reliable CB2. I mean, we have...
I would say he could come over and be the CB1.
I don't think he's better than J.C. Horn.
I would say he's better than that. Oh, here we go. I'd say he's better than J.C. Horn. Explain why you think he's not better.
J.C. Horn let up what? I think he was top 10 in the league for touchdowns allowed. I think yards after catch, too. I mean, he's great. I mean, that game against the Chiefs, he did have some crucial penalties. I remember that still. I was so mad when we couldn't beat them. But, I mean, he's an absolute dog. I mean, he's not old at all. I mean, he's a really young corner, so he's still developing. He's not even in his prime yet. I feel like if you bring Ward over here as the CB2, because, all right, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's bad, but I mean, when you have a Pro Bowl caliber corner in J.C. Horn, I mean, it's nobody really pays attention to the Panthers defense, and I mean, rightfully so. We absolutely sucked. We had the worst defense. We had historically the worst defense ever. We allowed the most points in an NFL season of all time.
I'm sorry.
Hey, we beat y'all.
Okay.
But I mean, still, I feel like Charvarius Ward would be a great pickup for anybody.
Khalil Mack. I've been waiting to talk about this all night. So Khalil Mack, he's a dog. He's getting up there in age. He's about to turn 33 soon. I feel like he brings that veteran, aspect to any team that he goes to. I mean, at his age right now, I remember that one game he had 6 sacks in the game. I'm sorry. We had a little misunderstanding. 6 sacks in a season. Okay, let's
It was
yeah.
great. It was
Yeah,
great.
let's keep going.
Byron Murphy is that?
He's a nice young pickup for any DB core. I like that. I feel like I would like him in a Cardinals jersey.
Cardinals. That's something I did not expect to hear from you. I mean, I see it. That'd be
He was a key piece of the Vikings defense this year.
He really was. And the Vikings defense was great.
Yeah, I would say it's top 3. It was a top 3 defense.
The only game I saw them, kind of slip up
was the playoff game against the Rams.
And I'm not gonna say the only one because I mean they slipped up a few times. I mean when they played the Lions in Week 18, fighting for the number 1 seed, they could not stop Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean Jahmyr Gibbs is a dog. I mean,
I'm looking at all these other players. I feel like a lot of these players can impact other teams. Especially like Rico Dowdle and players like Bobby Wagner. Those players that can come in and make an impact right now.
I mean Rico Dowdle, he's only 26 and he just broke 1,000 yards.
If I was the Cowboys GM, I wouldn't trade Rico Dowdle. I would beef up the O-line in the draft. Here's what I would do. First round, I'm drafting Abdul Carter, so him and
You think Abdul Carter might fall that low, or are you telling him to trade up?
I'm telling them to trade up and get Abdul Carter. Because I feel like Michael on one side, Abdul on one side, that's insane. And you're already having a 1,000-yard running back, so there's no point of going out and getting somebody like Gene Tiers,
I mean,
and I think it's getting that time where I feel like if they're going to win the Super Bowl, it's got to be now because Dak is getting up there in age and he's not progressing. So I'd say if they're going to win, if they're going to win the Super Bowl, it has to be in these next 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you got Micah Parsons. I mean, he's entering his prime right now. I mean, he can play pretty much anywhere on the field. I mean, I don't see how you get no line to block him. Maybe you do a double team or something, but he goes in between those.
I'm sorry. Continue.
He gets in between double teams and he can wreak havoc.
What's so funny? He can wreak havoc. Okay. Let's keep looking at the list. What's so funny? Alright. Go back up. Oh, Aaron Jones. So the Vikings signed him to a 1-year deal. I would assume he's already 30. But he eclipsed 1,000 yards this season, so I feel like they just re-signed him. And that would be a good signing.
I mean, yeah. Amari Cooper is one that I was thinking about. I mean, because you got to think about it. He's not in his prime anymore.
He's just a veteran that can run routes and catch balls.
And he's said it before. He doesn't care about how much production he's doing, as much as he's doing as much as he can to win a football game and to win. He wants to win a Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, I feel like that's the whole reason he wanted to go to the Bills. I mean, he is Josh Allen.
He wanted to go to a contender.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills, man.
Well, yeah. Do you have you thought about anything else?
I have. I've thought about See, you know what? Let's save that for next episode.
All right.
All right.
My name's Liam.
My name's Christian.
Thank you for watching our episode of Nbs S episode 3.